Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi and good day everyone. So today we are from Group 5, ACT 41331, Management Accounting 3. We will present about the balance scorecard technique and practices in Petronas. So our team member is Muhammad Yusof bin Abdul Khalid, me, 194837. The second one, Syazan Nabila binti Jamburi. The third one, Nachati Rambal anak perempuan Paciapan. And the last one, Yogarani anak perempuan Wijaya Murti. Okay, for the background of the organization, in 1974, Petronas was introduced with the 15 staff and just 2 phone lines. Petronas started its operation from the premises of the Prime Minister Department in Jalan Dato' On, Kuala Lumpur. So as you can see, this is the old Petronas logo. In 1976, Petronas has signed its first production sharing contract (PSC), which transforming the concession system governing oil exploration and exploitation to the more equitable PSC system. This also create the Petronas Carigali Berhad. We move to the 1978. Petronas stepping beyond the role as an operator. Petronas have embarked on exploration and also production activities with the incorporation of the Petronas Carigali Berhad. In 1979, Malaysia was hit by the global oil crisis due to the shortage of the diesel. Petronas set up 3 skip tank stations to retail kerosene and diesel to customers in Kuala Lumpur and also Petaling Jaya. Next slide. In 1980, Petronas has expanded into the downstream businesses with the incorporation of Asian Bintulu Fertilizers and Berhad in 1980. In 1981, Petronas drilled its first appraisal well in the Duyung gas field and achieved its first oil discovery at the Dulang oil field in 1981. In 1983, the Petronas has introduced the first fully owned refinery plant commenced operation in Kerteh, Terengganu with a capacity of 3,000 BPD. In less than a month, the Petronas has exported the production of naphtha to the Japan. In 1999, the Petronas Tin Tower were officially opened by the Prime Minister YAB Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on 1st July 1999. So for the nature of the Petronas, since our interviewee is from the Petronas group tax, so we choose the nature of activities from the group tax department. So group tax department is the one organization department in the Petronas HQ KCC. This department have 2 types of division. The first one is Tax Technical Center of Expertise, and the second one is Tax Governance and Process Excellence. The role of the Tax Technical Center of Expertise is to manage all the tax work for all 400 operating Petronas unit, which Petronas call OPU under Petronas HQ KCC. And the staff in this division have the expertise in doing the taxation calculation and also the taxation analysis. The example of the division, as you can see, the first one is upstream division, downstream division, indirect tax division, transfer pricing division, personal income tax division, tax analysis and relation division, centralized tax services project division. And the second type of the division is tax governance and process excellence. Tax governance and process excellence have the role as for to manage all the work in order to keep the department always growing, sustaining, and also excellence. The staff in this division type have the expertise in management, especially in the Petronas. The example of the division that underlying in this type are strategy and performance management division, sustainability and embankment management division, tax process excellence division, tax governance and assurance division, and the last one is tax functional expert division. So since balance scorecard is the performance management, so we are focusing on the strategy and performance management division, which the leader is the Puan Junaida Ibrahim, and under her is the Puan Nur Johanna Jamaluddin. Next slide. Okay, for the services provided by the Strategy and Performance Management Division, there are four types that the services provided, which are strategy, the first one, the second one, performance management, the third one, budget, and the last one is that delivery. For the strategy part, its main function is to lead and assist the business change management and align with the group tax change management framework for the group tax, the business initiative, tax delivery initiative, finance transformation initiative. It also to make sure that all the initiatives which want to be implemented for the group tax department are aligned with the 5-year strategic initiative roadmap which have been planned by the Petronas Board of Directors. The second one is performance management. After the strategy have been strategized by the SPM unit, so it is necessity to do the performance management. So in this performance management, so the service provided is to do the balance scorecard as we can discuss later. And the third one is the budget part. So the budget part, there are two main functions for the budget. The first one is budget, and also the second one is Petronas Management Services Agreement, PMSA. And for the budget, SPM Division will make the budget for the group tax department and will make the monthly review for the budget of the current year. So the variance analysis will make in order to keep track all the expenses incurred by the tax division of the group tax with group tax. And for PMSA, SPM Division will act as a middle person as between the all division in the Petronas group tax with the OPU available in Petronas in order to prepare some documentation to charge all the OPUs which have used the services of the group tax department. And the last one is the tax delivery. So the tax delivery part is in order to provide the techno-functional input to resolve the group tax requirement issues, business insight for the tax. Next is assist in preparing, refining, setting the business requirement specification. Other than that, facilitating stakeholder engagement and business requirement gathering workshop with the group tax unit and also techno-functional input. Next slide, please. Okay, for the importance of the strategic management accounting. Before that, we must understand what is management accounting. Management accounting is the profession which involve the management, decision making, planning, and performance management system, and providing expert people in financial reporting and control to assist management in formulation and implementation of an organization strategy. Many businesses implement management accounting currently in order to achieve the organization mission and objective. Strategic management accounting is beyond that. It's only not focusing on the internal part of the organization itself, such as the management and also employee, but it also focus on the external part of the organization, such as the competitor and also the environmental aspects. So strategy management accounting also focus on the non-financial information aspect, such as the sensibility of the organization in order to improve the organization operation. The first important of the strategic management accounting is the first one is relative cost accounting. Relative cost position is a comprehensive study that involves the manufacturing capacity and the competitive position of all competitive firms on the global market. Company owner will use this information to build a map showing which businesses have the lowest and the highest relative cost position on the market. This often details the entire availability of the particular consumer product or services to the industry. Company owner may use the strategic management accounting to assess the scale of the economy, minimizing individual unit cost by increasing the manufacturing volume. The second important of the strategic management accounting is the sensible cost benefit. So company will use the strategic management accounting to ensure that their goods are the most competitively priced on the economic market. Market owner often create a competitive cost advantage in order to prevent losing sale of the alternative and inferior product. Substitute and inferior product are product which provide comparable benefit to the product of the businesses at a cheaper or lower market prices. Businesses manage prices by negotiating directly with the manufacturer to buy a specific number of goods at a certain price for a given period of time. So this contract often strip away the bargaining power of the supplier. Supplier bargaining power help the supplier firm to control the amount of the company that can pay for the economic services. This will raise the cost of the direct goods to a company and reduce its competitive cost advantage. And the last importance of the strategic management accounting is to differentiation. So differentiation is a mean for the corporate leader in order to distinguish their firm from the other firm in the economic marketplace. Strategic accounting administration operate in the collaboration with the other division in order to create the demand for the consumer product and services. Differentiation is often accomplished by the customer service, supply chain, logo, and also product positioning. Market manager use the strategic performance management to review the cost of the operation in order to ensure that the organization does not sacrifice its relative cost position. Next slide, please. So the report purposes is to understand the management accounting practices of the one particular organization. To achieve this objective, so we have chosen Petroleum Nasional Berhad Petronas as the organization which we can gather the information on the practices of the strategic management accounting technique which have been implemented at Petronas. In order to gather the related information, we have conducted an interview with the Puan Nur Johanna Jamaluddin, who is entitled as the head of the budget and performance management of the Petronas Group Tax. She has the expertise, especially in doing the strategic management accounting, such as the budget, balance scorecard, and also performance management, as she has done it for the years. The session have been conducted on 9 December 2020 from 12 to 1 p.m. And this 1 hour session have given us more information about strategic management accounting, which have been implemented in Petronas. So the report have been written in order to elaborate the finding from the interview from Puan Nur Johanna Jamaluddin and criticize the strategic management accounting practices in Petronas and provide suggestion in order to improve the organization operation. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, so hi, my name is Shazana Bila and my metric number is 192323. So before I start explaining about the process of balance scorecard, so let me introduce a bit about what is a balance scorecard. So balance scorecard is referred to as a performance management system that translates a company's mission, objectives, and strategies into a performance measures. So balance scorecard was first introduced by Kaplan and Norton in 1992, and from then it keeps evolving until it is today. So balance scorecard is a comprehensive way of measuring performance in which it measures performance from the financial aspect and also from the non-financial aspect. Balance scorecard measures performance from four perspectives, namely the financial perspectives, customer perspectives, internal business process perspective, and also the learning and growth perspective. Okay, so next, how does Petronas implement balance scorecard? So for your information, Petronas has been implementing balance scorecard for years now as a tool to measure and manage their performance. So balance scorecard in Petronas is both a top-down and a bottom-up process in which all levels of organization, from the top management to employees, play a role in developing the mission, vision, and strategies in the scorecard. So every year there will be a scheduled session for all the heads of departments to have a meeting with the Chief Financial Officer, CFO, to present and deliver the information of each department's balance scorecard. So usually, each of these head of department would be given a different time slot to have an in-depth discussion with the CFO. So, um, the process of this balance scorecard, firstly, the every head of department will map and make a time frame of BSC of what the department plans to do and achieve on a long-term and both short-term basis. So these head of departments will chart the roadmap of objectives for maximum of 5 years for long term, and also for the short term for the subsequent financial year. So to do this, usually starting from May of every financial year, the head of departments would instruct all divisions under it to provide information to develop the objectives, strategies, and measures for the next 5 years and subsequent financial year, such as what the divisions plan to do, the projects, their initiatives, their budgets, and the projects that they plan to execute for the next 5 years and for the next year as well. So this is because the involvement of managers and employees in divisions give a broader perspective in developing the balanced scorecard. The active participation of middle managers in designing and implementing processes of PSC will result in a strategic alignment. So once all of this information has been collected, the heads of department, along with the higher ups of the departments, will discuss together and analyze all the information, and they will evaluate which projects and which plans that they should take into consideration, and then they will form the long-term and short-term objectives based on the four perspectives for the department that aligns with the company's overall objectives. So once these objectives are made, the next step is to formulate the strategies. So the strategies are made for each of the four perspectives based on the objectives set earlier for both the long-term and short-term basis. So strategies chosen should be correctly formulated and shall reflect the objectives and driven by the relative perspectives. So a strategy map is the best to show the relationship between the specific objectives constructed for each perspective and the strategies of the departments. So this strategy map would give emphasis on how the strategies formulated would lead to the achievement of the objectives. The heads of departments would prepare strategies of their respective departments, reflecting the long-term objectives, and also the short-term strategies will be formulated based on the short-term objectives to be implemented in the subsequent financial year. Alright, next, once all the objectives and strategies are set, so now we have to set the performance measures. So to monitor the performance, specific key performance indicators, KPI, will be allocated to the specific objectives to be achieved by the specific divisions and departments in Petronas. So aside from that, Petronas also sets the benchmark, the minimum target to be achieved, the base, and the stretch to monitor their performance. So to give a simple example, if project A is given a budget of 50,000 and is to be completed within 2 years, so the estimated percentage of completion and the budgeted cost for year 1 would be specified, and by the year of year 1, the manager would evaluate whether the actual progress aligns with the planned time frame and budget. So if these project manage to progress according to the time frame and utilize the equal or lesser cost than the budgeted one during the actual commencement of the project, so this indicates that those in charge shows good performance and is able to manage the project well as it achieved the target. So next, the communication of so the communication of the objectives, strategies, and measures in the balance scorecard are communicated to the CFO during the scheduled session for all the heads of departments. So after everything has been approved, the head of departments will then communicate all the objectives, strategies, and measures in the balance scorecard to all employees under the department. And then in the subsequent financial year, in which the execution of the strategies, the updates and progresses of the balance scorecard would be updated on a monthly basis to evaluate the performance by using the measures that have been set. Next slide. Okay, in December, the head of department would evaluate the achievements achieved by the department, including all of its divisions, in the January until November of the financial year. So, um, then they will also collect reports such as the financial statements and the project reports that contain real-time information needed to evaluate the divisions, whether they have executed and achieved according to what have been lined in the balance scorecard. So these results and other information will then be updated into the balance scorecard and matched with the KPI and benchmarks set to see the extent of the achievement of the respective divisions and departments. So based on the actual performance or any significant events in the current financial year, the roadmap of 5 years that have been decided may have to be adjusted accordingly. Okay, so lastly, in Petronas, the balance scorecard is also linked to the reward system. So the achievements of employees and departments would be rewarded in the form of bonus called the performance bonus. And these are usually received in the January or February in the subsequent financial year. And the amount they receive would be usually based on the employees and the department's performance and rating for the current financial year. Thus, the better the performance rate and the rating, the higher the bonus they will get. But however, in the case where a department fails to achieve their target in the current financial year, the department's rating would decrease and the employees would have to undergo more training and have to go to talk sessions to find out the problems that are faced by these departments. Okay, next. Okay, so moving on to the strengths of the balance scorecard implementation in Petronas. So, balance scorecard allows Petronas to evaluate performance of the company, departments, divisions, and also their employees in the aspect of financial and also non-financial. So, for example, from the financial aspect, the ROI, the ROA. And for non-financial performance, the examples are percentage of completion and customer satisfaction. So, aside from that, balance scorecard also helps Petronas in identifying the measures which represent the company's strategies. So, the comprehensive framework of balance scorecard allows the heads of departments to generate a coherent and linked set of performance measures from the company's objectives. Okay, next, balance scorecard also allows the company to track the progress on the implementation of strategy for the current financial year. So balance scorecard measures how the company goes along in achieving the objective using the strategy. It helps to measure the achievement towards achieving the objective. For example, a department's performance, if the department's performance is similar or better than the strategies or the target set, then the department can be said to be performing well. So the use of balance scorecard in Petronas enables the head of departments to keep track of the progress of each project and if the objectives of the current financial year have been achieved or not. Okay, so this helps managers to evaluate whether employees are performing according to the strategies laid in the balance scorecard. Okay, lastly, aside from all those, like I said earlier, balance scorecard also allows the linking between the objectives and the reward or compensation system. So this helps in strengthening the company's organizational alignment. Since balance scorecard is also linked to the reward system, this will help to motivate the employees to work hard to achieve the objectives of their respective departments or divisions. This in a way helps the employees to learn and gain more new skills and knowledge as well as they strive to find better ways to perform their jobs. This in a way also leads to a more competitive work environment. Sorry. as employees tend to put in more effort to deliver better performance to avoid from being at the bottom of the scale. So this in return will contribute to many high achievers in Petronas and increase the profitability of the company as a whole. Next. All right. So the challenges in the implementation of balance scorecard, there are two. First is to get together and discuss. So since COVID-19 pandemic, it has limited the ability of to have large meetings, in which is very important for Petronas to set up a meeting with all the head of departments and the top managements to discuss in one sitting and chart the roadmap of the balance scorecard for the next 5 years and for the subsequent financial year on the group level. So this is considered as a critical yearly event, and it requires a deeper and more comprehensive interaction and discussion between those involved. So a physical meeting would be the best option compared to an online meeting. This is because there are limitations of online meeting, such as internet connection problems, unexpected technical problems, unconducive environment, and the lack of technology skills in using the online meeting application such as Zoom and Google Meet. Aside from that, another downside of the implementation of balance scorecard is that the difficulty in gathering information from all levels of the organizations. As Petronas is a relatively large company, it consists of many divisions and departments. Thus, this is not easy to get everyone to participate in the construction of balance scorecard. Sometimes the head of divisions or the head of departments, they do not follow the deadline given by the company. Thus, this delay the construction of balance scorecard as there would be insufficient information available. So, therefore, these problems should be addressed more aggressively by Petronas in order to get a better outcome. So I'll pass the floor to the next presenter.
Thank you, Shaza. So now I will be presenting about design for an improved technique or system. As we discussed above in previous slide, we know that Petronas using balance scorecard as an effective performance measurement tool. However, in our opinion, there is a room for improvement in the implementation of performance measurement tool by Petronas by adding sustainability element into the balance scorecard. For instance, in the context of Petronas having a separate effective department for sustainability and producing sustainability reports on activities and plans that has been taken in emphasizing the element and its sustainability objective. However, implementing or incorporating the element of sustainability into the balance scorecard can be a whole new level of performance measurement approach in achieving the company's overall strategy in a more proactive and efficient way. So there can be two different ways of implementing sustainability into the balance scorecard, which is first building sustainability measures into existing perspective, and second, add an additional sustainability perspective in the sustainability balance scorecard. Next slide. For example, according to the first half of 2020 Petronas Sustainability Report, there is a project named Cubic where the Petronas has structured the workstations with salvaged and reused items and materials, and the building has a sustainable features where it is built with refurbished intersected container cabins and use photovoltaic solar panels which can cater to the energy demand of 73 kWp. So from what I have said before, this is a separate, this is the excerpt that we get from the separate sustainability report. But when the Petronas implement these sustainability elements into the balance scorecard, it gives a vast benefit to the users and stakeholders of the balance scorecard where the external users can see the integration of financial and non-financial activities with the sustainable features. For investors, there is a sense of satisfaction and transparency on how their money were invested. And for employees, there is a sense of responsibility will be achieved among employees because they know how their performance will affect the sustainability objective of the company. So, example of incorporating sustainability element into perspective of balanced scorecard is, for example, the cost of material used for the refurbished intersected container cabins can be incorporated under financial perspective, while the employee satisfaction or cost of community funding can be incorporated under stakeholders' perspective. That's all from me. So I will be on to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Nacha, for the presentation. So I will continue the presentation with the conclusion, and I will summarize the presenter's part. So without a proper performance measuring system, we can say that companies are not able to meet their targeted goal of the organization. And Petronas has implemented a balanced scorecard system to measure and manage the performance of the employees and understand the strategic guidance and future management perspective. And Petronas has an aggressive vision and mission that help it effectively develop its four perspective, which is financial perspective, customer perspective, internal business process, and learning and growth. So all level of the employees in the organization of the Petronas are contributed in developing the scorecard in Petronas. And to implement the balanced scorecard, the information is collected, analyzed, and evaluated between all the departments to construct the long-term and short-term objective. So based on the objectives set for the both long-term and short-term basis, each of the four perspective specific strategies are formulated, and key performance indicator will be allocated to specific objective to be achieved by the specific units and departments in the Petronas to monitor the performance and also set the benchmark, which is the minimum target to be achieved for the certain period. So this is the process involved in the Petronas to set the balance scorecard. And the key points highlighted in this presentation is from the balance scorecard, it can evaluate the company performance for the current financial year, and it is also considered as a strength of the balance scorecard implementation in Petronas. Evaluate of the overall performance of the company, department, unit, and employees, including the company financial and non-financial performance. And it strengthened the company organizational alignment throughout the balanced scorecard implementation, and it also evaluated the overall performance of the organization for the current financial year. And from the presentation, we can know that throughout the implementation of balanced scorecard, there are few challenges, which is during the COVID-19 pandemic, Petronas is unable to organize the meeting with the head of department and top management to plan their balance scorecard to be implemented in the Petronas. And also there is a difficulty in gathering the information from all level of the organization. And lastly, there is two technique discussed, which is add building sustainability measures into the existing perspective and also add an additional sustainability perspective in the sustainability balance scorecard to be implemented in the Petronas.
For the reference, so this is the list that we use for the reference in order to do our report. So this is the evidence that we have conducted the interview with the Puan Nur Johanna Jamaluddin. So we have recorded and we included the interview session in the YouTube, as you can see in the link above. Next slide. So during the interview session, so this is the some interview question that we asked from Puan Nur Johanna in order to to achieve the report purposes, which is to understand the management and accounting practices, especially in balance scorecard, which are implemented in Petronas. Next slide. So as you can see in the organization chart, so Puan Nur Johana Jamaluddin is entitled as the head of the budget and performance management under the strategy and performance management. She is the second highest position in this division. So with her expertise, so we can add more relevant data and information in order to achieve these report purposes. Next slide. So that's all from us. Thank you.